The fact that I'm even having to do a video on these things, pistol braces here, this amalgamation of plastic and rubber and some Velcro, I mean, it blows my mind. Why? Because the left and the ATF just won't stop. They won't stop. There's not enough gun laws, and there's not enough rules and regulations. To them, there's not enough infringements to the Second Amendment, which every gun law is an infringement, and every ATF rule and regulation is an infringement. But now we have to talk about what they've done and what your options are going forward. Now, for those of you wondering what is actually at stake here, well, the ATF has determined that this thing here, a pistol brace, is going to be treated exactly like this, a stock. Now, whether it's on an AK, an AR platform, or any other type of pistol platforms that exist, having one of these, for the most part, is going to be considered just like having this. And putting a stock on a pistol makes it a short-barreled rifle in their eyes, and therefore is now something governed by the National Firearms Act of 1934. To stay in compliance with the National Firearms Act, ultimately, you have to submit and receive a tax stamp indicating that you have paid tax or are in compliance with the law, and then you're allowed to go about your way. The final rule was announced in January of 2023, and as the time I've put this video out, March of 2023, mid-March to be specific, there have been many lawsuits challenging this rule, challenging the legality of it in many courts across the country. In fact, there's even murmurs and rumblings in Congress to stop this. There's another reason why I'm doing this video, and it's stop the bullshit that's going on out there. Whether it's members of the GunTube community or attorneys who focus on firearms, spewing nonsense and bullshit and fear-mongering. I don't know if it's part of their grift, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, or they just want the click. None of you are served with this, ooga booga booga, ooh, you're going to be a felon, ooh, it's a trap. It's not a fucking trap. And there's two big reasons why it's not a trap. First of all, the Fifth Amendment. And there's actually a case involving the National Firearms Act where the Supreme Court said, hey, forcing him to sign up violates the Fifth Amendment if you use it against him. And then more importantly, part of the National Firearms Act itself prohibits the use of whatever you submit as evidence that can be used against you in a criminal prosecution. So it's a trap, but the law prevents it from becoming a trap. So why the fuck are people running their mouths and talking about dumb things? So we're going to have to talk about what are your options. And there's a couple of them. Option 1, do not comply. While that may seem the sexy and edgy boy thing to do, I don't recommend it. Number 1, it's not worth getting in trouble over when there's other options available. And number 2, is this really the hill you want to die on? Now, if it is, then by all means do so, but as an attorney, I cannot recommend you do that from an ethical standpoint. So there are other options that are far better. Option 2, you could destroy the weapon. Now, this one is completely ridiculous and you should never do it, but it is an option available to you because if you destroy the firearm under federal law, it is no longer a firearm. You need to follow the ATF's rules on how you destroy a firearm. Well, once again, I don't recommend it, but it is an option available to you. Option number 3, disassemble the entire thing, separate the pistol brace, take it apart, and wait to see what happens. Now, once it's disassembled, it's no longer a pistol. And now there might be arguments of constructive intent, but at this point, you are trying to comply with the law. I don't recommend this option either because you don't get to use it. You don't get to go pew, pew, pew. Option number 4, place a normal stock onto the lower receiver and place an upper receiver that has a barrel length greater than 16 inches on it, and now you've turned your pistol into a rifle. Now, under federal law, and also in the ATF's interpretation of the rule, they stated this was an acceptable option to relieve yourself from being stuck in the SBR pistol brace conundrum. So now that you've turned it into a rifle with a barrel length of at least 16 inches and an overall length of at least greater than 26 inches, you're fine. Life is good. Option 5, go ahead and register it as an SBR and get a free tax stamp. Now, why do I recommend this last option? Well, it's for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, if you happen to be somebody who wanted to get into the NFA world, but you were concerned about having to sit down and go through the paperwork, having to worry about finding an engraver, or just the cost prohibitions involved, whether you wanted to buy a suppressor, whether you wanted to short barrel rifle something, short barreled shotgun, destructive device, any other weapon, or maybe you are a baller and you wanted to get a machine gun, but it was just too much. This is free. You literally do not pay the tax on the stamp. So why not? This is a great way to get in. That also leads into another angle. Number 2, more and more people involved in the NFA, the better. We shouldn't view the National Firearms Act, and yes, I agree, it's unconstitutional, it should go away. It should burn in hell along with every other shitty law in America. But it's not, and it's here now. The more and more people we have who have tax stamps out there makes this less of a niche market, of a niche area. So there is an advantage to that. And number 3, once you register this as an SBR, you're not just limited to the barrel length of current. You can use any barrel lengths you want. So if you have a 9-inch barrel now, but you want to go to a 13-inch barrel, you can do that. If you want to go to a 14.5-inch barrel and you want to make a knockoff M4 clone, you can do that. If you want to go all the way down to 7 inches, you can do that. If you want to make one where the bullet's sticking out of the barrel, you can do that too. You're not limited. So that is a neat part about this, is it does give you flexibility. And I believe in option number 5 so much. I'm filming myself completing that form, and I'm going to put it up as part 2 to this video. Yeah, that's right. I am so confident that I'm not going to become an ooga booga felon. Ooh, so spooky. That I'm willing to put it online in front of the entire world. That's how serious I am about this. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Please give me a subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. Makes the algorithm not happy that I'm in charge. But hey, let's do that. Also, share this video. Make sure you know if you have family, friends out there that have pistol breaks and they're getting worried about what's going on, let them see it's not the end of the world. It's not a trap. There are things you can do, and you can do them the smart way, the right way, then there's no problems at all. So until next time, guys, remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Thank you for watching this video, and if you're interested in seeing more of me here on YouTube, I do a live show every Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. During that show, we'll talk about topics that are going on in the world of the law, especially criminal-related ones. Some of them are serious, some are funny. I like to have a good joke or two in the meantime as well. In addition to that, guys, if there is ever any sort of trial or hearing or legal matter that tends to be breaking, I will certainly be going live if I can to cover it. So please keep your bell icon clicked and highlighted. That way you guys will be notified when I do go live for something special. Presuming YouTube does not, mess with it, which they kind of do sometimes. But otherwise, if you guys wish to support me, the best way you can really support me is over on locals.com. At my website and my page, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. There you can become a member free of charge, and then if you wish, you can be a supporter. Locals takes less of a cut than YouTube does, and in addition to that, Locals has no real restrictions on what we can talk about. They don't throttle content, and absent you advocating breaking the law, Locals is pretty chill. And they allow you to express yourself in a great way. I do a stream there at least twice a week. We usually do an after stream for the Thursday shows. And then on Mondays, roughly around 8 o'clock Eastern every Monday, we do a stream then as well. It's a great place we can talk. And if you happen to be a supporter, you are able to actually join in the chats there and converse with me. And it's a very intimate place compared to here on YouTube. If you wish to find me at other locations and streaming platforms, you could find me on Rumble at Potentially Criminal. You could find me on BitChute under Potentially Criminal. And you can also find me on Odyssey at Potentially Criminal. Those are ways I disseminate my content to prevent myself from being locked down should I be struck by one platform or another. If you wish to see any of the merchandise that I'm working on for a trial or topic that's relevant to me, you can find it at potentiallycriminal.creatorspring.com. And then, guys, if you happen to be the bravest of the brave and wish to take a true trip in the heart of darkness, you can come join me on Discord. I warn you, though, wear a helmet. That link is here as well, and if you do wish to join me, I look forward to seeing you there.